The Prince of Whine keeps on whining, whining, whining. Britain's most famous dysfunctional family is in the news again, this time as Prince Charles publicly blames his father, Prince Philip, for his lonely, unhappy childhood and for forcing him into a loveless marriage with Princess Diana. At least the Brits have finally found a use for the hapless Prince of Wales beyond cutting ribbons. He's selling newspapers and books at a profitable clip and giving the public something to talk about besides dreary economic woes. Charles's newest tell-all confessions, excerpted from a new book to be published next month, have been filling the front pages of most British newspapers. The authorized biography by journalist Jonathan Dimbleby, titled The Prince of Wales, draws on interviews with Charles, who made available diaries and 10,000 of his letters. It was checked by his office for facts. Charles's book closely follows Princess in Love, which reports Diana had a 5-year affair with an army major. Another book about the Princess of Wales is due shortly. His father bullied him as a child, treated him with mocking banter, thought him a bit of a wimp, and preferred his spunky sister, Charles Whines. He was sent to school at Gordonstown, where everyone picked on him, and he was horribly unhappy. His mother was too busy being queen to help, the poor baby. At age 32, he let his father insist he marry Diana or end their relationship. So he chose marriage in a confused and anxious state of mind, and seems to have regretted it from the start. The poor guy. The drip, drip, drip of what Charles said and what Diana said and what he did and what she did and his affair and her affair are eroding public support for the monarchy, some British editorial writers, columnists, and politicians are saying. But Prince Philip, while not denying Charles's charges, told a British newspaper the monarchy had existed for the last 1,000 years. If it's lasted that long, it can't be all that bad. Charles is apparently counting on becoming king. Diana's lawyers and his lawyers issued a joint statement a few days ago, denying press reports the couple would get a divorce next year. But speculation persists that Charles is trying to whip public sentiment around to change the rules so he can divorce, remarry, and take the throne with the woman he seems to have loved all along. But the ploy isn't working. The play for public sympathy is backfiring. The public may relish personal confessions on TV talk shows, but they want something a bit nobler from Buckingham Palace. Someone should also be concerned about the effects of this mess on the Wales' pre-teen sons, Harry and William, who is supposed to inherit his father's titles someday. The British royals are basically museum pieces, historic artifacts with some attraction for tourists and not much else. The monarch's legal duties are minimal, largely formalities and easily eliminated. Their vast personal wealth could vanish with a few changes in the tax code. That's what happens in the delicious book, The Queen and I. Delicious book, The Queen and I, by Sue Townsend, newly published in paperback. It should give Charles and all the royals nightmares and their subjects something to think about while they are laughing. In the novel, the royal family wakes up one morning to find a former Union leader has been elected prime minister on a platform of ending the monarchy. He does just that. He sends the useless royals with no real job skills off to live on welfare and public row housing in a project. Each of the families gets a tiny 2-bedroom, semi-detached unit that stinks of neglect and damp, is semi-warmed by a gas heater that must be fed with scarce coins, and is shared with cockroaches. "We've had bloody cars bigger than this," wails Prince Philip, as cultural shock sinks in. The Queen Mother gamely pronounces her bungalow adorable, but adds, "It could be a kennel for a large dog." Fellow tenants steal priceless Gainsboroughs, constables, and other paintings from the moving van. They are sold to the landlord of a pub for £1 each. The priceless Aubusson rugs are slashed to fit the cramped rooms by a beer-guzzling local named Spiggy, who takes up with Princess Anne. Getting settled is traumatic. Diana and Elizabeth are not used to sharing a bed with their husbands. Philip can't figure out how to shave himself or how to cope, and spends most of the time in bed in a silk dressing gown that gets dirtier by the day. Elizabeth manages somewhat better once she learns how to hook her bra. She misses her dresser. How very awkward it is to dress oneself, she thinks. Her hair is impossible. She takes to wearing a scarf most of the time. When she cuts herself struggling to open a can of hash, Charles takes her to a national health hospital where she has to wait 4.5 hours for aid. Charles tries to make conversation with the neighbors, telling the history of his ornate silver candlesticks to a local lad who is interested in them for reasons other than their antiquity. An attempt to help in a dispute puts him in jail in a 4-man cell, where the cultural shock deepens. William and Harry join a gang of toughs for self-preservation, adopt the local slang, and want their heads shaved to match their new pals. Diana buys a suit for £2.50 at Help the Aged. Princess Margaret's chief concern is her supply of cigarettes. But it's not all grim. A social worker comes by to tell the Queen Mother she is eligible for Meals on Wheels, and Charles that National Health will probably pay to have his ears fixed because they may be psychologically damaging him. That's it for now. Please like, subscribe, share, donate, etc. If you would like to make a donation and you don't know how, to help support this channel, you can go to the comments section where you can find links to the Patreon, the PayPal, and the Cash App. Thanks for watching Royal Sussex.